While it may be cold outside, things are getting toasty warm at Global Voice Broadcasting. Heat up your winter nights with the hottest topics, the hottest celebrities, and today's best music. It's why Global Voice Broadcasting is becoming your 24/7 home for the music and talk you want right now. Discover your favorite shows and music anytime at globalvoicebroadcasting.com.
I highly recommend Ms. Hicks. Her books, her CDs are encouraging.
I bought her book, A Hill to Climb. She's a very inspirational speaker.
And I look forward to one day being able to work with her.
Your power lies within you. Let it loose.
Aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, determination. These are the keys of life success brought to you by none other than award-winning author, motivational lecturer, business consultant, and much more as she gets you aimed to your purpose. And now, ladies and gentlemen, young and elder, from Hollywood to the entire world, here is your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Louise Hicks, along with her co-host, yours truly, Kennon Wesley Mason.
Hello, world. How is everybody today? We have a great show for you today, and we have a surprise for you.
Yes.
After that game yesterday, I needed some therapy.
Uh-oh.
And I went out and got some.
Hello.
So we're going to have some sports therapy today after we share with you our entertainment news. So we're going to talk to Ken a little bit first, though, my co-host.
Yes, this is Kennon Wesley Mason, and I want to welcome everyone all around the world to Aim to Purpose, the radio show. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be around the world. We welcome all of you, and we have a new addition to Aim to Purpose, the radio show as well. So we'll be introducing him in just a minute. His name is Robert Snell. But first,
we have a great show for you today, too. We are Skyping in to Florida, and we're going to talk to you about Scalar Energy. We have as our special guest Tom Paladino. And Scalar Energy, does anyone know what that really is? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to give you the truth about it. Just hold on. Let Ken do his thing first, and then we're going to talk.
Yes, we will talk to Tom Paladino about Scalar Energy. But again, first, Miss Shamika Brown.
Hey. Hey, people. It is your girl, Shamika Brown. I'm coming to you today. This is your entertainment and community news that you can use for Monday, February 2nd. So we'll jump into it with some box office numbers. Domestic numbers, we've got American Sniper coming in at $89.2 million. And this film broke the Super Bowl weekend record. So shout out to the cast and the crew of American Sniper doing a good job at the box office. Number 2, Paddington with $18.9 million. And The Wedding Ringer, that's the Kevin Hart flick, $20.6 million. International numbers, number 1, Taken 3, $31.4 million. Number 2, Seventh Son at $21.7 million. And Night at the Museum is hanging in at the number 3 spot, $17.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So let's kick it over to some boardroom news. Oprah, back in the news again, this time with Ava DuVernay to co-create a series for the OWN network. So actually, they've been running around a lot together promoting the movie Selma.
Right.
And so co-starring and producing, Oprah has teamed with the film's director to create a new original drama series for the OWN network. Mm-hmm. So this is inspired by the novel Queen Sugar, written by Natalie Bazile. DuVernay is set to write, direct, and executive produce, and Winfrey will executive produce as well. This is the first time that she will actually be appearing in a series for her network. I have a quote from Ava saying that from the moment I was introduced to the book, I was captivated by the idea of a modern woman wrestling with the identity, family, culture, and echoes of history, said DuVernay. To bring this kind of storytelling to life alongside Oprah and her network is wildly wonderful. So we cannot wait to see what happens with this.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Oprah's putting her golden hands on a lot of stuff lately.
Isn't she?
Yes.
Isn't she? So I think this will be good. Obviously, you know, the OWN Network is doing pretty good with Have and Have-Nots and some other new series. So shout out to Oprah and
Sounds
Ava.
good. I wanted to put her golden hands on Louise Hicks.
Hello. This is actually, DuVernay, just a tidbit, especially since it's award season. She's the first African-American woman nominated for a Golden Globe and Critics' Choice for the Best Director award. So that's pretty big.
Wow.
Yes. So, look, we'll move on to community news. And this is something I think everybody will appreciate because have you noticed that the gas prices are dropping?
Yes.
Honey?
Yes.
Yes. She
Thank
is
God.
excited about
Let's
that.
applaud that.
Yes.
Keep dropping. Yes. So, listen, according to Bankrate.com, the national average is expected to drop to 23% this year. Making it national average of $2.60 per gallon, which is pretty decent. I know when I was in Dallas, it was a lot cheaper than that, but
I just heard in Arizona it's at $1.69 right now.
Blessed be the name.
Yeah.
See,
Yes.
that's what I'm talking
I don't know
about.
when gas has been that low.
It's been
the
about
90s.
20 years. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
has
It's been a
been.
long time.
So it seems like the 90s, like you were saying earlier about history repeating itself.
Oh, yes,
we
it does.
would appreciate that because we have not seen numbers that low.
Well,
in a
I've been
very long
around a
time.
little bit longer than you guys. After 63 years, I've seen quite a bit of history repeat itself.
That's right. Well, I'm very excited about that. But I just wanted to give you guys some insight as to what is really driving these prices down. The first thing is the growing supply of oil worldwide, especially in the U.S. and Mexico. So we have Obama to thank for that. You know?
Great.
No dependence on foreign oil. This is definitely change we can all believe in, right? And then the price of crude oil overall. U.S. refineries buy several million barrels of oil each day. So even the small price changes affect us. So we can definitely see the trickle down because of it. Wasn't always that way, but thank God
Right.
we see some transparency when it comes to that.
Oh,
and then
yes.
also every September, the government starts to ease off on the clean air standards, which is not necessarily a plus for us health-wise, but at least you get to keep some money in your pocket. Yeah, that's some little insight into the gas prices, and I feel like that's definitely community news because it's affecting us all across the globe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And then for my last tidbit, Miss Louise is going to be a special guest speaker this Saturday.
Yes.
I think that also, thank you
Yes,
very
there
much.
we go.
There you go.
There we go.
So she is going to be a special guest speaker at the Divine Sisterhood Conference, Rocking God's Glory. This is an event for empowering women, and I think this is going to be awesome. You definitely can check out the event Saturday, February 7th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. At the Marie Hawkins Foundation. That's at 2411 Aprila Avenue in Compton, California, 90222. Now, pre-sale tickets are available for $20. For more information, you can contact the show's producer, Shawnee, at 562-333-1432. Louise, give us a little insight on this special event because
Well,
it's going to be
come
nice.
on out and get some laughs because they're going to have a couple of comedians there. And come on out and get empowered and inspired by the speakers that will be there, including myself, yours truly, Louise Hicks. And I'm excited about that. So I'll be giving some tidbits and some golden nuggets about empowering us at this women's conference. And it's their first annual. And they were founded really to assist single parents, to empower them and help them to grow and understand how the stigma against single parents, because I was one once upon a time myself. So let's go ahead and come on out and get
And
some of these
support it.
Yeah, let's
golden
support
nuggets
Louise. And I'm going to tell y'all, guys, if y'all have never heard this woman speak, you are definitely in for a treat because, honey, she takes you there and back.
Right.
Yes, Lord. So
Just get your GPS system ready. And that's your God-powered system, okay?
Hello,
There you go.
God
Get
power
that ready.
system.
That's right. Get
Yeah,
your
rev up our
GPS system.
engines.
That's right. Rev it up.
Okay.
And also, just one other little nugget I want to share with you. On Friday, I went to an empowerment leadership ladies conference, and it was their first annual. And this was Warren High School in the city where I live, Downey, California. And I tell you, those ladies really inspired me. I happened to see it in my local Patriot paper, and I said, I have to go out and support these young ladies. They're high school students, and I'm going to have them on the show probably in April so that you can hear from them. And they were awesome. They had some great guest speakers from USC, some activists. They had the Congresswoman there. It was really nice.
That's what
So
it's all
I wanted
about.
to share that, and we need to have more schools to do these type of events to help empower women that's coming out, and men, of course, that's coming out. But this happens to be a women's event that I went to.
Well, there
Okay.
you go. Well, that's
Okay.
it for my report, guys. And you know what? I am so excited because, baby, that Super Bowl. Ooh, y'all not ready, but I'm ready for some sports therapy. How about you guys?
Okay, and we're not gonna go to break. We're gonna go straight to Robert Snell, and he's gonna give us sports therapy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Come on,
need it.
Robert.
Come on, Robert.
Thank you, Kennon.
Yes. So, tell us, what is the deal on yesterday?
Please.
You give us the straight dope.
Well, for all of you in need of a fresh take on sports in the big game yesterday, here's your therapy. So before we get into the game, though, I want to first start off talking about like the extra stuff, because as you all know, the sports Super Bowl is much more than just the game. You know, there's all the production, the commercials. Speaking of commercials, this year it cost $4.5 million.
Come on up to the
Wow.
mic so everybody can hear you.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
For a 30-second ad, that was $4.5 million. My favorites this year were, I thought, T-Mobile with the Kim Kardashian commercial.
Oh, yes.
Skittles with the arm wrestling commercial for the favorite Skittle.
Yeah.
And the Snickers Brady Bunch commercial for the, satisfy your hunger. I thought those three were the top commercials. There was a lot of like sad ones this year that
Yeah, what
Yeah,
up
it
with
was
that?
too many of them if you ask me.
I'm right there with you, because I watched the game for, like entertainment to, a good time, party with my friends, and those commercials kept on bringing us all down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling the vibe.
Right.
So
I gotta watch that next year.
yeah, maybe next year they'll get on fixing that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there was also a halftime show, and the halftime show is kind of an event in itself. This
Yep.
year's
Yes.
yeah,
It was.
as you all know.
Yeah.
This year's talent was Katy Perry featuring Lenny Kravitz, and she had a surprise guest, actually, Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
Yes. Save the show, baby.
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
was
like
so
halftime.
excited.
Halftime was really exciting for me.
I don't know about you all, but I thought Missy Elliott actually stole the show from Katy Perry.
Yep.
I thought that,
Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah.
She did that. Everybody's talking about like, whoa. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the game specifically.
Right.
It's the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
What was Pete Carroll thinking?
A lot of people today have been ripping Pete Carroll. Obviously, with 20 seconds left, he decided to throw the ball on a quick slant play instead of handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, which is
Right.
the play everyone in the studio.
Everyone
in the
was
world-
looking for that.
Everyone. And honestly, I think that's probably the best answer of why he didn't do it. Because, when New England lined up for that ball, you saw the way Vince Wilfork dug into the trenches, those other linemen got in there. They were looking run. They were showing almost a blitz package. And then Russell dropped back and threw the ball. And, that was pandemonium. I almost had to, blink because I didn't believe it when I saw it. All of a sudden, you hear on Michael shout out, Butler has the ball, and next thing I know, the game's over, Tom
Yeah.
Brady's taking a knee.
Right.
But really, I thought that I didn't have any problem with it. He knew what he was doing. He didn't want to give Tom Brady any time left to throw. And if you do run the ball in that situation, then you're forced to burn your last time out. And then, that opens up a whole new can of worms. So,
Yeah. At the same token, you go with what's been working throughout the entire game. This guy was literally running through people throughout the entire game. Why would you not when you have, less than 5 yards to go?
Yeah.
Come on. You have 30 seconds.
I wanted to see him run it.
But
I
think
think
we all did.
Yeah, I think the whole country did. But
Yeah.
you know, breaking down that play, the Patriots player that picked off the ball, Butler, he actually had to come through the arms of the Seahawks receiver. I believe that was Curse, number 15.
Yeah.
And get the ball. You know, there was actually word of, oh, should that have been pass interference? Was it a clean play by Butler? You know, so even that play in itself had controversy. So I think it's unfair to rip Pete Carroll for making that.
Yeah, well, what's done is done. Like you said, it is entertainment.
Oh, yes.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's over.
Yeah.
Well, real quick before we end the segment, where do you see Tom Brady going forward?
Next year, I look for Tom Brady to defend his crown. I think that man has a lot of pride. And early in the year, week 2, when people were questioning whether or not he even had anything left in the tank, he said, I'm going to keep playing until I suck. And based off yesterday's game, he won the MVP. He has a ways
He's
to
got
go
a lot of
for that.
he got some work to do to get to that point.
Well, and on the flip side, where do you see Seattle? Do you think they'll be back next year?
They have a lot of interesting offseason decisions to make because the way their roster is set up, they have a lot of decisions to make for who to pay, who to keep, you know, and they're going to need to either pick, do we want Marshawn Lynch to come back and make him the centerpiece of the team, or do we want to hand over the reins to Russell Wilson, make him our franchise player, and make this all about him? Because unfortunately, beast mode can't exist as long as Russell Wilson's getting to throw the ball in those key moments.
Well, I think Paul Allen will have some decisions to make, the Microsoft guru that he is. And I think they'll be back next year.
Luckily, he has the pocketbook to make whatever decisions he chooses
absolutely.
to.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, I it was perfect. Thank you so much. You will be back next week to give us some more sports therapy.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to.
let's give Robert the round of applause that he deserves for
Yes.
Good job, Robert.
And we'd like
excellent.
to thank Robert for joining our team,
Yes.
and we want to give back to the community. So Robert is here from the local community, Cal State University,
Go
Long
Niners.
Beach,
Yeah, go
49ers, my alma mater.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have you, Robert, and thank you for coming on board with
Well,
us.
thank you for the opportunity. I couldn't be happier.
And with that being said, we're going to take our first break, and we're going to come back with our special guest, Mr. Tom Paladino. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, it's Ken here. If you or someone you know around the world has a small business, organization, or foundation you'd like to share with the Aim to Purpose audience, showcase it here on our segment of the show called Small Business Monday. The opportunities for people around the world to browse, buy, and use your products and services are endless. We pre-screen all businesses, organizations, and foundations for legitimacy, but because this is a free community service brought to our audience, it's at no cost to you as well. You heard it right. It's absolutely free, and you don't have to pay 1 penny. How do you like that? You just come on down to the studio and tell the story of your business, organization, or foundation, and give it the praises and accolades you know it deserves. If you're in another part of the state or country, or if you're in another part of the world, you can easily call in or Skype in and do the same. So what are you waiting for? Contact the show's publicist, Shamika Brown, at www.divinebrownmedia.com. She can also be contacted at 1-818-533-8463. Or contact Louise Hicks at www.louisehicks.biz. She can also be contacted at 1-562-310-1495. Allow yourself to be seen by the global masses and allow your business to shine and grow because of the global masses. It's Small Business Monday, courtesy of Aim to Purpose, the radio show.
Hello, world. We're back again. I'm Louise Hicks of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, along with my co-host, Kennon Wesley Mason.
Yes.
And we are going to introduce our special guest today who's Skyping in from Florida. Go ahead, Kennon. Kennon's going to share a little bit of background about our special guest, where we're going to talk about the truth about Scalar Energy with Tom Paladino.
Yes, Tom Paladino's research and work with Scalar Energy began during his undergraduate years. He was inspired by various scientists, such as Hieronymus More, Prior, and especially Nikola Tesla as to the existence of an energy that is not of the electromagnetic spectrum. With this inspiration, he pursued a course of independent study in order to better understand and subsequently harness scalar energy. Scalar energy is also known as prana, chi, radiant energy, zero-point energy, ki, orgone, and aloptic. After years of experimentation and modification, Tom Paladino has developed a technique using scalar energy that will transmute pathogens quickly and painlessly. Tom has not published papers to a scientific authority, foundation, academic group researching his academic group regarding his research. He has focused on working with people for the past 25 years in the area of disassembling pathogens. Earlier subtle energy scientists such as Nikola Tesla, Antoine Pior, Thomas More, T. Galen Hieronymus had published papers and received patents for their innovations. Tom began where they left off and worked in the arena of better health. Eventually, to help the body recover from damage by pathogens, Tom began delivering nutrients to the cells via remote scalar. And ultimately, he brought in the chakra balance, as the chakra of the body are natural receptacles of scalar light, and when functioning properly, distribute scalar to our entire human system. Recent discoveries led Tom Paladino to the conclusion that viruses can likewise be transmuted by this process of broadcasting scalar energy. He desires to present the world with the cure for all, in capital letters, ALL, all bacterial, fungal, protozoan, and viral infections. It is his belief and statement that the scalar energy is capable of transmuting all pathogens, thus presenting the world with a cure for thousands of pathogenic diseases. Tom Paladino has also a breakthrough with the herpes virus. His statement is, "May the world one day soon recognize this great gift from God." So with that being said, please let's welcome to Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Mr. Tom Paladino.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm very well. It's great to be here. Thank you
Great
so much
to
for that introduction.
have you here. What a great introduction. You've had quite a bit of experience with the scalar energy, and I know it's something new to a lot of our listeners, and particularly me. It was something new to me as well. So I'm really eager to jump in here and find out the origin of it and what is scalar energy.
Sure. It's very simple. Actually, everybody is an expert in scalar energy. It's all around us. We work with it every day, but we haven't recognized it, sadly. Energy from the sun, from the stars, that is scalar energy. All energy originates from the stars of the cosmos. Well, that energy fills this world. It's omnipresent. Well, we could consider that even thinking or feeling is some type of a broadcast of scalar energy or scalar intelligence. So I can assure everybody in the listening audience, we're all experts with scalar energy. We simply haven't recognized that there's two energies in the universe. Modern day science recognizes and acknowledges electricity and magnetism. That's valid. We all know that. But there's a second energy. Some people call it chi or prana. Scientists will call it scalar energy. Another term in vogue today is zero-point energy.
Right.
It's very simple. There's two energies in the universe, and once we understand that, we can make some significant progress.
That makes a lot of sense what you're saying, because we look around us how we are Skyping. Is that a form of energy? We are Skyping all the way into Florida with you.
Yes.
and
Yes.
Here we are in California. We're in Hollywood, California, and you're in Florida, and we're Skyping in. And with technology today, why not the scalar? So you say it's similar to chi energy?
It's identical. Those terms are synonymous.
They're synonymous. They're the same
Okay.
thing. They just have different names or different
Exactly.
titles.
Thank you. The philosophers of old mused about chi and prana, or the God force, or perhaps the universal consciousness,
That's
or
right.
the intelligence of the universe. Those are all synonymous terms with scalar energy.
That's
Again, there's
right.
two energies in the universe. Frankly, you have a 50-50 shot at it, frankly. You can either consider something scalar or electromagnetic. It's that simple. There's two and only two energies in the universe.
Yeah.
The chi and the electromagnetic. Now, what's the difference? You just mentioned that word electromagnetic, and you talked about electricity
Yes.
and magnetic. So explain that.
The universe is simple, and let's first start off with the creation of energy. All energy originates from God, and in its primal form, it is scalar energy. It's a double helix. If you can imagine two corkscrews that run side by side, that's a double helix.
Right.
Well, then in some environments, scalar energy degrades, meaning what? The double helix breaks apart, and in so doing, scalar energy will convert into electricity and magnetism. So scalar energy is the first energy of the universe. All stars initially produce scalar energy. And sadly, it degrades many times into electricity and magnetism, which I don't prefer. My preference is by all means that of scalar energy.
And this is the same scalar or AC energy that was discovered through Nikola Tesla.
Yes. Yeah. Nikola Tesla, many of you are familiar with this great scientific genius. Early in his career, he studied AC electricity, and his advances were incredible. But I don't think people quite understand that later in his life, Tesla worked almost exclusively with scalar energy.
Right.
Tesla discovered scalar energy actually in 1899. Tesla moved to Colorado Springs in order to experiment with scalar energy.
Yeah.
And he was able to achieve things with scalar energy that he was not able to achieve with AC electricity. So I think that was really a turning point, a watershed year for Tesla. From that point forward, I'm really convinced that Nikola Tesla was so far ahead of mankind. He started working almost exclusively with scalar energy. He saw how superior scalar energy was to that of electricity.
Well, yeah, I mean, what he saw was that energy, as we see it, is freely available for everyone, versus
Yes.
what we've done with the Thomas Edison version is a type of energy that we have to pay for.
Thank you. Exactly. and that's the whole key. If scalar energy originates from the stars, well, it's an infinite supply of energy.
That's right.
It is. And what Tesla wanted to do was to harness this infinite supply of energy. If he would have accomplished that, then we would not have the energy crisis that we have today.
Oh, absolutely.
If scalar energy is universal and omnipresent, obviously, and if it's infinite in supply, well, there goes scarcity. You no longer have to assume scarcity
That's
in your
right.
economic model.
Well, and here's how we know that there is an infinite supply. You just check nature.
Yes.
Nature tells us that every season you have certain crops or vegetation or herbal supplements that grow or cultivate or throughout different times of the year, on time every single year, like clockwork. We know that energy sends the whales up and down the currents of the ocean every single year. That same energy sends the ducks flying across the United States. It takes the butterfly across the Atlantic Ocean. All of these things are scalar energy, correct?
That's right. Well put. Very astute. Thank you.
Yeah, so Tom, you said the energy actually originates from God. Now, what about people out here that say, well, I don't really believe in God, even though we see all these things around us? I believe in God, and there's some universal force, I believe, because how can man not even save himself? So I believe there's something, but there are people that's going to say, well, I don't believe in God. So address that.
Okay. Let's look at nature, and you have to say to yourself, at least I do, what's the cause of all causes? Well,
yes.
You have to go back and say what presupposes, what what was before that action? Well, the only thing that I can come up with, and this is logical, there's a creator, and the creator does not need a cause. The creator is the cause of all causes.
That's right.
And if you take that into consideration, then science starts to make sense. If you're really a scientist, you have to look at the cause and effect relationship of everything.
Of everything.
Well,
that's right.
Thank you. And ultimately, all the phenomenon of the universe, you have to say, what is the cause? Well, if you go back to simply just something that is part of creation and not the creator, creation cannot create. Only the creator can create.
Absolutely.
Meaning only the creator can be the first principle, the first line of action.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I totally agree. You might not call it God. You might call the energy something else, but whatever you call it, it's a creator that, like you just explained it, the cause and the action.
And we also know that, for example, you with scalar energy, you use it to eradicate illness and certain pathogens. So this is how we know that, for example, many people believe that cancer just shows up out of nowhereville, versus it being created by something or by a certain lifestyle. Or certain negative thinking patterns, which create a certain energy within the body, because every cell is an individual on its own, which has its own energetic aura.
That's right.
And so energy illness is from lack of energy. If you're not in harmony or have energy in yourself, you either have energy or you don't. You're going to be in health or you're not.
Yes.
I agree.
and you talk about the pathogen. What exactly, some people may not understand, what is a pathogen? Explain what a pathogen is.
Again, I'm working with scalar energy exclusively. I don't work with electricity. Now, one of the characteristics that I've discovered of scalar energy is that it controls matter, meaning I believe scalar energy is responsible for holding together the molecular state of all physical matter, as well as the atomic state.
That's right.
So with that, I've developed scalar energy instruments that allow me to control that molecular state. Now, scalar energy instruments put me in the driver's seat. It's just like you sitting behind the steering wheel of your car. You have mastery. You have control over that car. That's right. Well, when I'm with a scalar energy instrument and I'm behind the driver wheel, so to speak, I have mastery over physical form. I have mastery over physical matter. And what I've developed is a technique whereby I can break apart easily viruses and bacteria and fungi. And that's why I say scalar energy instruments will introduce to mankind the cure for all pathogenic disease. The technique that I've developed allows me, again, to easily, routinely break apart the molecular structure of a pathogen, a germ. In so doing, that germ is reduced into smaller components, maybe proteins or elements of the periodic table. So I take a one-celled organism and I reduce it into proteins and carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. In so doing, that germ, that pathogen ceases to exist. I have fundamentally deconstructed the molecular geometry of a germ, of a pathogen. That's why I say this is going to introduce the cure for disease, pathogenic disease, because the pathogen ceases to exist.
Right. This is similar to, I guess this would be, you have a pathogen which is at a low vibration that exists. It causes disharmony to the body. So what you're doing with the scalar energy is creating, a certain frequency that matches and makes the pathogen dissipate.
Yes, well put. Let's use this analogy. I think some of you are familiar. A trained voice, a vocalist, can shatter glass with a voice.
Yes, the old Memorex commercial.
Yeah.
There you go. You're going to hold a wine glass up to your lips, and some people have such a beautiful voice that they can actually make that glass resonate, the same resonating frequency, and in so doing, the glass vibrates and it shatters.
That's
as you said, the Memorex commercial.
That's right.
Well, Thank you. In principle, that's the law of resonance. In principle, I use that same feature when I'm working with germs. I simply match up a germ, such as the herpes virus, with its resonating frequency, so to speak, and I just make that germ disassemble, break apart. If you can shatter glass with your voice,
That's right.
I can shatter the herpes virus with my scalar energy instrument.
Right. Right.
And that's awesome what you're saying. And I know I have some testimonials that you sent. And
Yes.
I was amazed at this herpes virus. The person had it. I don't recall how many years, but it was a number of years. And you were able to just disassemble the herpes
Yes.
virus from this person. So did they go back to their doctor and the doctor told them it's no longer visible, or what?
That's correct. That test that I sent you, it's a DNA test. People will call it a polymerase chain reaction test. That test looks for the genetic presence of a virus, in this case, the herpes virus. And after I treated that person with scalar energy, the herpes virus has been eradicated. It no longer exists. So after 30 years of infection with the herpes virus, this person no longer carries that germ. It's simply, again, we've changed the molecular structure. The germ, the herpes virus, ceases to exist. Well, the doctor was, Frank, the attending physician was mystified. They didn't know what to make of this.
Oh, of course. Of course, because what we've been told on in advertising is that there is no cure for herpes. So
there is now.
Right, and there always have been. Energy has been around forever. So
Yes,
there's always been a cure for everything if you want to take it to that level.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting that Ken said that, because we had Dr. Caldwell B. Essiston on the show at the beginning of the year, and we talked about plant-based diets, and his wife Ann and his daughter Jane were on the following week, and we talked about their cookbook on how to prevent heart disease and reverse heart disease. And we talked about some of the things that when people go to the doctor, how 1/3 of what they eat is for themselves, and I think it said 2/3 or something to the effect was for the doctor, because we know if we are not taking care of ourselves, we will not have optimum health. And it's so vital that we do eat properly, and a lot of the things that we're eating, particularly fast foods, we're all in a hurry all the time, and we're eating this and eating that. And I know you talked about your energy assembled nutrients inside of the body. Does that play any part into your diet and how you eat with the energy as well, the scalar energy?
Yes. What I'm doing with scalar energy also has the function of being able to assemble nutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants in the body. Again, a scalar energy instrument allows me to have mastery control over physical matter. Well, in this application, I take my scalar energy instrument, in-phase capability now, in-phase allows me to assemble nutrients. And in so doing, I believe I have the perfect delivery system for micronutrients, vitamins, antioxidants, fatty acids, amino acids. All of those can be assembled inside the body, and as such at the cellular level.
That's right.
And I can bypass the metabolic processes. I don't have to worry about other chemicals mixing with other chemicals, other enzymes catalyzing this process. To the contrary, it's a delivery by way of light. It's light energy that is commanding the micronutrients to assemble inside the body, inside each cell. Hence, every cell in the body, if you will, becomes a factory for nutrients.
That's
it's
right.
Perfect.
Yeah, because many of your minerals that many of us lack, many of them carry different hues or colors of the light spectrum that we actually need to produce energy. That's why it's vital that we eat certain foods of all different colors, certain herbs and fruits, vegetables, because we have what you mentioned about the chakras. the 7 major chakras that we know of, 1 through 7, they all are of different hues. So having the certain mineral content, that adds energy to yourself, and also it helps you to store more information. It makes all of your organs function at a higher capacity. Your brain functions at a higher capacity as well, which means that your vibration is higher, which means that you have more energy, or in this case, scalar energy, to fight off illness and disease.
Mm-hmm. Bravo. Well put. Thank you.
And Tom, you said you mentioned instruments. Are these some type of instruments that were already here, or did you invent the instruments that you're using? Explain that a little bit more about the instrument.
The scalar energy instrument, yes.
I have a number of scalar energy instruments. It's taken me a good 25 years to perfect these instruments. This is from the ground floor up, if you will. I've had to experiment. It's taken me a while, obviously, to perfect it, but now I have scalar energy instruments that truly have this capacity to control and harness this energy. It's been quite an undertaking. I am successful at that now, and yes, it is quite unique what I'm doing.
Now, you using this, how does this differ, or does it differ from the old Royal Rife protocol from nearly 100 years ago?
Now, Royal Rife was a genius in his own right. I believe Royal Rife was using electromagnetic energy.
Okay.
He was using the same principle, I believe. From what I've read, he was able to identify a pathogen and then broadcast into that germ, that pathogen, virus, bacterium, the reverse angle. So that reverse phase angle served to, again, disassemble or in some way impair that pathogen.
And I believe you had to be present as well, too. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And with scalar energy, with the instrument you use, I believe it says you can use a picture of someone and do it from a distance.
Yes, that's correct. Now, with the electromagnetic spectrum, you don't have the ability to broadcast healing at a distance as you do with scalar energy.
Right.
With my scalar energy instrument, I can treat somebody around the world easily. Why? Scalar energy really is, if you will, the matrix or the hologram itself.
Yeah.
And in order to treat somebody by way of scalar energy, it's simple. It's much simpler than that of the electromagnetic spectrum. In other words, all I need to do in order to access the person is their photograph. Why? Well, a photograph is a source of light. Every photograph actually has a code, a signature of light.
That's right.
If I took my photograph, it would be my signature of light. And if I place my photograph in a scalar energy instrument, then I become part of that dimension. I walk into that matrix, so to speak. I'm part of that hologram now. Meaning what? Meaning you can treat anybody in the world by virtue of their photograph. It's profound.
Yeah. A lot of people that study Reiki use pictures as well to do distance healing and things of that nature. Really quick, I want to read I looked at a quick definition of scalar. A quantity such as mass, length, or speed that is completely specified by its magnitude and has no direction, versus a vector which is specified by its magnitude and its direction.
Right. And that's the classical Newtonian concept. A vector concept does have magnitude and direction. Now, the term vector might be a misnomer because with scalar energy, you have direction to it. So let's not look at scalar in that term vis-a-vis the Newtonian concept. Scalar energy is a term that's come about. It might be a misnomer. We might really not in the future call scalar energy as we do today.
Yeah.
I think perhaps more appropriate, really, it's the life force energy. Scalar energy does have direction. As a matter of fact, it directs not only a broadcast of energy, but it's responsible for all motion.
Yeah.
So in so doing, really the term scalar is a misnomer as far as our current dictionary definition.
Right, because scalar or energy itself, I mean, it simultaneously moves in all directions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You know?
So the term that scientists are using today is scalar energy. I could use the term, again, prana or creative force,
right,
or pyramid energy or chi. And that's just as appropriate, and those terms are synonymous. But most scientists today are using the term scalar. Nikola Tesla used the term radiant energy.
Radiant, right.
If this was 120 years ago, we'd be using the term radiant energy.
Right. Well, I mean, and not that he would be lying or missing anything, because we do have a radiance, if you will. That's energy.
Yes.
That is energy. And when you had mentioned chi energy, I had an illness some years ago, and I still go acupuncture sometimes now, but I took acupuncture, and they would always talk about the chi energy and how it was opening up the regions. I don't remember everything how it worked, but open up regions within my body to allow the energy to flow. And I tell you, it really worked. So it is energy that keeps us going. And you think about people that arteries are blocked and they have to have, open heart surgery and so forth. So that energy is not allowed to flow because of the blockage. So our bodies can become blocked and get these pathogens within it, and you move it out with a photograph. How do you do that?
It's very simple in practice. Let's say I want to treat out the HIV virus, and I have. I simply take a photograph, a magnified photograph of the HIV virus, and I place it inside my scalar energy instrument. So my instrument now scans that photograph. My instrument picks up all of the energy, the scalar energy attached to that HIV virus, and then broadcasts the reverse phase angle of HIV into a person.
Right.
And the HIV virus then breaks apart. It disassembles. Again, if an opera singer can shatter glass with her voice, then I can shatter the HIV virus with my scalar energy instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I think there's thousands of pathogens, I guess. So with some being tuberculosis, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, a lot of these names created, irritable bowel syndrome, all of these, candida, strep, flu. And with the flu coming up, have you?
Yes, I was going to mention that.
A lot of people are doing the flu
It's vaccine
virus.
season now.
And, right, it's vaccine season. So you're saying with scalar energy, if someone, say I'm living here and I think I might get the flu virus, I can send you a photograph of me.
Yes.
And you can treat me in Florida, and I won't get the flu because that you're going to disassemble any virus that may potentially be lying dormant in my body. Is that?
Yeah, I'll make the statement. I treat myself every day with scalar energy. And although germs are everywhere, and I'm sure I'm picking up the flu virus like anyone else.
That's right.
You go into a grocery store, you're going to pick up the flu virus.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I treat myself every day allows me to disassemble germs, including the influenza virus. And in so doing, I will go on record. I haven't had the flu in 4 to 5 years. I haven't had to take aspirin. I haven't had to visit the hospital. I've perfected this to that point. Now, some of the other clients that I'm working with, some people have told me, Tom, as long as I'm on these scalar energy treatments, I never have the cold or the flu. Or if I do get it, it's only for a short period of time. Why?
That's right.
Well, again, I treat everybody on a daily basis. So after I treat you, you could go theoretically to the grocery store or to school and pick up a flu bug or come down with some type of bacterial infection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, within the next 24 hours, I'll treat that out. I will disassemble those germs that you've acquired in the past 24 hours. So my point is this. Scalar energy does indeed work. It is a primal force in nature that controls germs, pathogens, and those folks that are with me on a long-standing basis have reported that they no longer experience colds or flus.
Yeah. And sometimes people are dumbfounded because they're not having colds and flus anymore, because we're so used to cold and flu season, having colds and flus even in the summertime for some people.
Right.
But when you have something like this and tell people that, yes, there is a way, the human body is designed to heal itself in the first place. But it can only do that when there is an abundance of energy within the human body. Most of us deplete all of our energy with negative thinking, or the type of foods that we eat with all the additives that break down our energy structure.
Yes, thank you. I agree. And that's the point of scalar energy. It's unifying energy. If there's anything that we can learn tonight, it's a coherence. It's oneness with the universe. I believe this energy really brings us, if you will, into the zone, or some people might call it into my element. It is a oneness.
That's right.
You're united now with creation, with the creator. And that's the point. You're no longer subject to nature. Rather, nature is subject to you. Why? Scalar energy supersedes everything. It's the intelligence that precedes creation.
Yeah. And it again, this is language that the masses, not only here in America, but around the world, are just not privy to. It's so far-fetched for many of us, because every day we're told that there is no cure for anything.
Yeah.
And there's a war on everything.
And there's a war on all the diseases. And then there's a foundation for every illness.
Yes, it is. And if anyone has any questions, we are live. You can always call in at 323-522-5482. Again, 323-522-5482, because we are on the phone live with Tom Paladino. And I know you had sent us a picture, too, of someone that had psoriasis, and it cleared up.
Before you show that, let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back. We're going to show those pictures, and then we're going to get some final thoughts from Tom, and I have another question for him, too, before we wrap it up. So let's take a quick break, and we will be right back.
This edition of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, is brought to you by L. Hicks Consulting Services. When you want the best in business coaching, life coaching, or perhaps your organization, business, or company is in need of a dynamic speaker for an upcoming workshop or seminar, contact Louise Hicks for L. Hicks Consulting Services at 1-562-310-1495. From anywhere around the world, that's 1-562-310-1495. For more information about Louise Hicks and her consulting services, visit her website at www.louisehicks.biz. Again, that's www.louisehicks.biz. Or call 1-562-310-1495. L. Hicks Consulting Services, where professionalism is top priority.
Okay, we're back. I'm Louise Hicks again, Aim to Purpose, a radio show, along with my co-host, Kennon Wesley Mason. And we have an amazing guest on, Tom Paladino, and we're talking about the truth about scalar energy and its healing power, how Tom has done over 25 years of research, and he has been able to heal people of the AIDS virus. Is that correct, Tom? As well as herpes. And when we hear about this, and we wonder, why is this energy not coming forth? Well, we understand it's all about the money. I'm sure it's not coming forth, because that would put so many people out of business. The drug industry, a lot of doctors would be out of business, because people wouldn't be getting, they would be healed.
And you are not a physician, correct?
That's correct. I'm a Scalar Energy Researcher.
Right, okay. Scalar Energy Researcher. And you've done all of these years of research. And I know, based on my own personal experience, I haven't done the scalar energy with you, but I've done the acupuncture chi energy, and it's had no side effects. I was able to get well. I'm not on any medications anymore, and I was on 7 at one time. And you said it was one and the same with chi. And I know that that chi energy does really work because it worked on me, and I am on no medication. And these pictures of someone with psoriasis here, and I know we're getting close to the time, we have to wrap it up. But what is the future of scalar energy? And Ken can show the picture while you're telling us about, you're getting ready to tell us, rather. Ken can share this picture of before and after this person that had psoriasis, and it showed, I think that was a 3-month time frame, right?
That's right. That person lives in Europe. I obviously never met the person. The person simply sent me a photograph, and I treated that person. You could see the before and after.
Right, about a
Yes.
4-month time frame, July to November.
They had significant skin infection, probably staph and strep. Well, within a matter of 2 to 3 months, it cleared up. How? Well, I sent the necessary energy from Florida to Europe. I broke apart the germs using my scalar energy instrument, and hence that person no longer has skin infection.
Can someone
simple
come
as that.
into the lab too, into your laboratory?
You know, it's not necessary. I have had people come into the lab, but it's the same treatment. This is the essence of the hologram. You don't have to be present.
Right.
Why? The hologram is one point. Everything is interconnected.
And
so,
the energy is everywhere.
Thank you. And that's why scalar energy works. That's why remote healing works, because you don't have to be present. It's just like a cell phone call. Well, you speak to somebody by a cell phone. They don't have to be 3 feet away from you.
Yes.
Why? Because that energy travels through the cell phone.
Yes.
And by radio waves, you're able to communicate with people thousands of miles away.
That's right. I mentioned that with Brenda Pierce on her show, E Factor. I talked about that specifically, about how the voice can travel from here all the way to Canada so she can hear me. I mean, go ahead. You had a question.
So why not the energy and the future of this? Why do you think people are resistant to something new? Because I know people told me when I was taking acupuncture, oh, well, I'm afraid to do that, and I just can't do that, and that doesn't seem to work. I don't believe it works, and I know for a fact it worked for me.
Sure.
So why do you think
Louise,
people are so resistant?
I see a new world coming. Frankly, from my research, people are not intimidated by this, and they're very accepting. What I do see is some people out there suppressing scalar energy, and they're doing it for their selfish motives. Why? Because scalar energy is a threat to the money and power of some people. On balance, the people want it. On balance, those in positions of power, government, big business, universities, do not want this. It will upset the apple cart, so to speak.
Absolutely. And is this the reason why you haven't sent your research to certain scientific journals and things of that nature?
Well, put it to you this way. My work is very public. I don't hide anything.
Okay.
To date, no university has approached me. Nobody. No business, no university, think tank, etc., foundation has approached me. Why? Well, they're obviously not interested, or perhaps they feel threatened by this.
Yeah.
And you're still treating people, though, because people are coming to you. Is there cost for this treatment?
Yes, I've set up a 30-day cost schedule in order to fund my research.
Okay.
That's fair. Now, being that in the couple of minutes that we have left, you use the word cure, which here in America seems to be the other 4-letter word. Being that you haven't sent your research to any well-known publication or whatnot, you can confidently say that there is a cure for many of the pathogens, if not all of the pathogens, that we're told otherwise that there is no cure.
Yes, and the reason I say that is because I'm working with a fundamental energy. It's not me. It's not what I can accomplish. It's the energy.
That's
Again,
right.
Scalar energy allows me to eradicate these foreign infectious agents. Germs don't belong in our body.
That's
They're
right.
foreign.
That's right.
And it's simple now. I want to underscore that. My scalar energy instruments routinely disassemble viruses, bacteria, fungi. It's a simple process because I have fundamental control with scalar energy.
Right. And the human body knows what it's supposed to have as far as our probiotic bacteria in our small intestine and other intricate parts that do belong in the human body, and it knows what does not belong in the human body. So energy knows the distinction.
Energy is intelligence. A lot of people, I think they realize that energy equates with intelligence.
That's
the
right.
two are synonymous.
That's
yes,
right.
It really does. And the more that people are starting to become health conscious, and with access to more technology now, we are learning a lot more, and we're not taking anything a doctor tells us or whomever, because I know that's what happened with me. Them telling me you need to take this and take that, and I started doing research, and also the same with children. Now, we have a quick question from our entertainment and news commentator. Shamika Brown has a question for you right quickly, and we're pretty much out of time. So,
okay.
Hi there, Tom.
Hi, Shamika.
So actually, you touched on it a little bit before, the big question about who is actually supporting you in this research, or if there are any organizations or doctors who have come forward to endorse what it is that you're doing. So can you just speak a little bit more about,
Yes,
who
to
has...
speak to that point, it's the people. I'll underscore that. The people, common people, moms and dads, teachers, some dentists, janitors, everybody, all walks of life are helping me.
Okay.
But it's not been government, it's not been the universities, and it's certainly not going to be big business.
Of course not.
Those groups, frankly, are threatened by this.
It's obvious.
Again,
Of course.
let me revisit this consideration. If Nikola Tesla would have succeeded in introducing scalar energy to the world, we would not have the power crisis, the energy crisis that we have now. In other words, there would be no oil cartel. There would be no energy cartel. There would be no telecommunications cartel. Scalar
Absolutely.
energy is infinite energy. Well, when you have an infinite supply of energy or anything, you cannot have a monopoly, a cartel.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%.
And I agree 100% too, having to gone through my illness and knowing how many doctors are pill pushers, because that's how they survive off of illnesses and diseases and so-called wars on everything. But with that being said,
we want to
let's
thank.
get a final thought.
Yeah, we want to
and
thank
then
you, Tom, for being on the show, and give us a final thought and
your
website.
Sure.
How can the people contact you?
My website is selfhealgo.com. You can visit probably, we've written at least 250 articles on the website. Any questions, submit them. I'll answer those questions, or one of the staff members will answer that question. And the final comment is this. Once we start using scalar energy, utilize it throughout the world, this world will change dramatically. Everything will change. Scalar energy is about to be accepted by mankind, and it will change the course of human history.
Yes.
There you go.
And you know what, Tom?
And that's selfhealgo.com.
Yes.
Selfhealgo.com is your website. And you know what? This is such a dynamic conversation, and I have other questions I wanted to ask, particularly about the AIDS virus, the herpes virus, and some of the other things as to why the governments and people aren't buying in. I'd like to have you back on the show at some
another
point
hour.
in time, because
I'd love it.
we could go and talk some more about some of these things to help people to understand why these type of modalities and holistic type medicines and energies are being held back from the masses of people. So we'd like to have you back on sometime in the future.
Thank you. I'd love that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, great. And with that being said, we have to close because we've run out of time. And we thank you again, Tom, for coming on, and we look forward to getting you back on the show.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. And with that being said, your final saying of the day?
We thank our listeners for being with us today worldwide. And as we always say, your power lies within you. Let it loose. Until next week.